read a book called Rotten Ruin, and it's about a post-apocalyptic America. And the day of the apocalypse, millions of people were infected by this virus that turned them into zombies. So now they kind of wander aimlessly through America as zombies. And it kind of focuses on a small town and in which the main character, Ben Amira, lives. And he has to find a job so he can support himself, which is the town's tradition. After you turn 15, you have to support yourself with a job. Like, they don't give you food anymore after 15. And after looking through all these jobs, he finds that the most fitting would be his brother's old job, which is zombie killing. And to be able to be as good as his brother, his brother has been, revered as the best ever, but to be as good as his brother, he has to learn about them. In Zombies of Rotten Ruin, obviously they're mindless and they don't need food, but they'll still lunge and bite at anything that moves suddenly or makes loud noises. And whenever they do, they run with inhuman speed that was, I guess, created by the virus. And, I always thought these are myths, and even with, crazy people like with bath salts and everything, that was drugs that made them crazy like that. But there's actually been a virus that turns living organisms into zombie-like creatures. And it's this fungus, which name I can't pronounce, and in the fungus, the way that it works is that it releases the spores into the air, and the spores enter an ant, and they find an ant on the forest floor of, like, Africa or Brazil or Thailand, and it makes the ant convulse, and so it has to. And the ant convulses and it stays on the forest floor because it can't climb up into the canopy into safety. And so the ant stays on the floor while the fungus it consumes its non-vital soft tissues. So, all of its intestines and all of its everything but the brain, which is a lot like the zombies of Rotten Ruin, because they're rotted, Their skin rots, and their teeth rot, and their bones rot. Everything except for the brain is rotting. And the way that you kill zombies from Rotten Ruin is you sever their brain stem. Well, anyway, so these ants are forced by yeasts, created by the fungus. It's controlled, and it's made to go and clamp onto a plant. Well, the way that it clamps onto a plant is that its mandibles are so strong that it just secures itself there, and it doesn't leave. And about 3 to 9 days later, the ant's killed. And the ending of the process is when the reproductive organs come out of the ant's head, which is really gross, but it comes out of the ant's head when it's ready to reproduce, and after the ant dies, it just stays clung to the plant, and the fungus kind of grows out of the ant, which is still, really gross. And scientists have found 20 to 30 of these ants in graveyards, about a square meter, and they're all at 25 centimeters above the ground, and at 68 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It always has to be that hot, and the humidity is always 94 to 95% humidity. And the weird thing about this is that scientists have found square meters of land filled with about 20 to 30 ants, all at the same place on each plant, and it's always always the same. It's always 68 degrees to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, the climate, and 94 to 95% humidity.